Football Queensland's coverage of the 2019 NPL, NPLW and FQPL season is brought to you by Play Football. Join the team today. Visit playfootball.com.au to find your nearest club. Football Foundation, making football more accessible for every income, every gender, every ability, every background, every Indigenous Queenslander. Donate today.
And a very good evening to everyone. It's a Sunday night blockbuster in the NPL Queensland. Round 25 from Goodwin Park. It's a massive clash. Premiership still on the line. Olympic hosting Lions FC in this Sunday night extravaganza. Big Sunday afternoon of football leading into Sunday night on the Football Queensland Facebook and YouTube channels, and you might just be finishing up either watching the FQPL game that's about to wind up or the NPLW game. Great to have your company here. It's Dave Griffin with you. In commentary, we're just waiting for the two teams to emerge out onto the pitch here at Goodwin Park, a couple of minutes away from the scheduled kickoff. And I've got a partner tonight. Andy Allen joins me in commentary. Even before the start of this season, this is one of those fixtures you circle, but now, with Premiership on the line, it's got extra value here tonight as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's going to be an absolute scorcher of a game, I have a feeling, and they've had the sprinklers on the pitch, so no doubt we'll see the balls springing across the surface, and yeah, I'm very, very excited for this one.
Absolutely, and as you've remarked, the grandstand on this western side of Goodwin Park almost full. A good crowd in for a Sunday 6 p.m. kickoff.
Definitely. I think they've come along to listen to you though, mate. Are you sure?
We're in the grandstand tonight. We're not on top of the roof, so spectators around us are going to cop it in full flight.
Yeah, especially if we get a bit excited, their eardrums may be popped.
Are you going to venture a prediction for this evening?
Oh, you've really put me on the spot there.
Last time it was Lions with a 3-2 victory back earlier in the year.
Yeah, I mean, Olympic haven't won this fixture in the last 3 games, so it's going to be a really big one, and I'm expecting, I think, Olympic coming off the back of a good FFA Cup win of 5-2. I'm going to tip them to win, maybe 3-2 winners themselves this time.
Always plenty of goals in these fixtures.
Let's hope. What about yourself?
I'm going a 3-all draw.
Ooh. A lot of goals then to call upon.
I think Peninsula would be cheering on that result. Got a victory last night against the Thunder, and currently top of the table, and Lions and Olympic both breathing down their neck. And Olympic, really, this is last chance saloon in terms of their premiership hopes. If they can't get a victory here tonight, they're pretty much out of the race, leaving it to Lions and Peninsula.
Yeah, definitely, and especially after their result against Magpies last weekend out, and I know a few of the guys here at Olympic are really hoping for a win here to keep their title dreams alive.
You can see Matt Mundy just walking along in front of the grandstands, out of this evening's lineup after copping an injury. I think it was to his back on Wednesday night in the FFA Cup win against Bayswater. Continuing to file in here.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of people coming down. I was just going to say with Matt Mundy, it's always fantastic fixtures to have, aren't they, the FFA Cup? But they put a big strain on the league themselves, and obviously missing a key player tonight. So
it's an interesting dynamic. 3 games in 7 days for Olympic, whereas Lions, with the wet weather weekend last weekend, had the weekend off. So as we talked about off camera before, it can be a blessing and a curse sometimes, that week off.
Yeah, it definitely can. They can maybe go to sleep, or they can do some stuff off the pitch and try and make sure they're in full force for this one. It can, go either way for them. So it'll be interesting to see that first 5 minutes.
Technical staff, including Warren Moon, slowly trudging over to the benches on the far side. We're now past the scheduled kick-off time. Hopefully we'll get underway here very shortly. Might see if that game up the Sunshine Coast has finished. Last time we checked, it was Capella leading 1-0, and that's still the case in stoppage time. So that's a massive result for Capella if that score can hold, and what a big game that will be next Saturday night with basically promotion on the NPL on the line against Logan next Saturday night.
Yeah, I think that's an absolute scorcher. It just leaves everything wide open for whoever comes up to that NPL, and obviously we know the Sunshine Coast Wanderers, they're already through, but they could have won the league if they won this one. But unfortunately, it will not be the case.
Speaking of good Sunday afternoons, I would have had a vocal crowd up there, but it appears as though it won't be enough to get the Wanderers on the line, over the line. You might just be able to hear in the background. You can hear the Olympic support starting to ramp up as their teams start to come out of the dressing rooms. Sure, Lions I can actually see out there now. Luke Borean in the distinctive beanie and the purple goalkeeper outfit.
I wonder if he's taken that lollipop out of his mouth yet.
Oh, I think he gets into trouble from the referees with that. That might have finished up as we now see the two teams enter Goodwin Park for round 25 of the NPL Queensland. Second versus third. It's Lions travelling the short distance down to Goodwin Park. Lions playing in the blue strip this evening, the away strip. Olympic in the customary red and white stripes. We'll take you through the two team lineups very shortly, but to start off with, we're just going to pause for a moment's silence before we get this match underway. Former Lions National Soccer League player Ian Steele, after a long battle with multiple sclerosis, unfortunately passed away overnight, so we're just going to take a couple of moments to commemorate his life, and we'll just pause for that silence momentarily.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in a minute's silence to be observed at the referee's whistle in remembrance of former Lions player Ian Steele. Thank you all.
So, in memory of Ian Steele, we pass on our condolences to friends and family of Ian Steele. All right, let's take you through the two team lineups for this evening. Firstly, for the home side, Olympic, in goal is Brandon Cumineo, 2 Jack Glover, 5 Steve White, 7 Shelford Deus, 8 Kazuya Ito, 9 Chris Lucas, 10 Alex Smith, 11 Jess Lofthouse, 14 Eric Panzer, 19 Phil Lazem, and 22 James Cumineo. The reserves for Olympic this evening: Kristen Waters, Costa Saros, Yoel Scholl, Danny Driver, and the reserve keeper is Dakota Sprange. For Lions, their lineup: in goal is Luke Borean, 2 Andy Thompson, 4 Mattia Simic, 5 Tommy Jarrett, 8 Mitch Hoare, 10 Joe Duckworth, 12 Sean Carlos, 13 Henry Hoare, 14 Jason McQuarrie, 15 Danny Kim and 16 Josh Brindle South. The Lions reserves this evening are Nathan Reardon, Adam Sawyer, Chris Hatfield, Marek Madley, and the reserve keeper is Jackson Riley. Now, match officials powered by Total Tools. With the whistle is David Walsh. He's assisted by Andrew Lindsay and Lucinda Robertson. And of course, we can't do this without the support of sponsors, and Olympic would like to thank their sponsors, the Coffee Club, and Lions thank Toowong Mazda and Luxury Paints for their ongoing support. So Olympic have broken out of their pre-match huddle, Lions still in theirs, and it'll be Olympic with first use of the ball in this vitally important round 25 NPL Queensland encounter. Borian jogs back to his penalty area. Looks as though all is just about in order. NPL Queensland match of the round from round 25, and it's the third place Olympic hosting second place Lions.
And what a game this is going to be. I'm really excited for this, and looks like it's going to be attack, 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 hopefully.
Thompson couldn't keep that within the sideline. As we said earlier, Peninsula with the win in Toowoomba last night, so that keeps them in first place, and as we go into this game, 4 points clear of second place Lions.
It's really everything on the line, isn't it? This do or die moment. It's the end of the season now, and let's see what we made of it.
Here's the skipper White. Picked out Smith on the left-hand side. Lucas waiting near the back post, sticking the hand up in the air. It's cut out by Thompson. Lazem. Deus tried to play in White. Once again, it was Thompson with the intervention. Looping over the top there was White in search of Deus. Couldn't pick him out. And last touch off Kazuya Ito, and the first goal kick of the evening will go Lions' way.
He's definitely not rushing towards to get that ball, is he? Taking his time. Relax it, let the teams get their shape and go again.
Laid back at the best of times, Luke Borian.
Definitely.
At first glance, it might fool you. You might go, how can he be a keeper and, just take things so lazily and easily? But as we know, one of the best, if not the best, shot stopper in the league.
Yeah, 100%. He is absolutely fantastic. His quick reactions and reflexes.
Over the top. Over. Yeah, it was over the top of Panzer there for Olympic. Height of Glover gets in there, but the flag was up for offside on the far side anyway. Away by Glover. Nodded on by Henry Hoare. Handful of games back at Lions since time in the Perth Glory youth system. Both Hoares scored in Lions' last outing, which was a 2-1 victory against fellow top four side Gold Coast Knights. That a couple of weeks ago. As you've touched on, Andy, it was an unsuccessful trip in the end to Mackay for Olympic last weekend in a catch-up game. They were 3-1 up at half-time, looked to be cruising, but Magpies Crusaders got them in the end, and it's been tipped or described as the upset of the season.
Yeah, definitely, and that was another one where, Olympic really needed to win it, and it would have put them in a really good shape for this game in the league, wouldn't it, if they had won it? But unfortunately not the case, and they've just got to make sure they keep their heads up after a good win in the week and keep driving forward.
Would have been 3 points they probably would have been banking on in the ledger. Would have taken them to the same record as their opponents tonight and even leapfrogged them into second place, better on goal difference.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that man there who just got fouled, Chris Lucas, is one to watch for this game. Coming away with a hat-trick on Wednesday night, and he'll be thinking he can get a couple here for sure tonight.
Saw his golden boot lead evaporate after Andy Pengelly's 9 goals against the Sunshine Coast Fire.
And wasn't that a massive, massive feat, obviously breaking the record.
It's gone right around the world. Everyone capturing that. So it'll be tough now to track down Andy Pengelly in the Golden Boot race, you'd figure.
Yeah, definitely now, I think, after scoring that amount of goals in one game, it sets him in good stead.
Setting a new NPL Queensland record, overtaking Dylan Wenzel-Halls, who did it last year against the same team, as Cumineo gets off his line right to the edge of the area, but just in time to collect the ball in front of Mitch Hoare.
There was a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card there, wasn't it? He first touch let him down.
Right, playing a little bit more forward than we expect. Obviously a few reshuffles with the injuries and players being put back to the substitute bench this evening. Crowd lies out. Bit of a cry of anguish as Thompson goes in for that challenge.
That could have turned out nasty, couldn't it, if that had made contact? There seemed to be a bit of studs, but won the ball, the ref says.
Always dangerous when you go into that position, taking a bit of a risk, but Thompson able to get away with it that time. Makwase, can he dispossess the Olympic skipper? No, he can't. He gets past 2 but couldn't get past the 3rd. Makwase works the ball back for the Lions. Carlos, Henry Hoare, and Carlos again steaming down the right-hand side is Brindle South up against the speeder Lofthouse. And Lions into their attacking 3rd for one of the few times in these early stages.
Yeah, it's been very go, 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 hasn't it? And I don't know if that's the type of game Olympic will be after a big, big week. 3rd game in 7 days, but it's the game they're going to get.
Of course, that 4-3 loss in Mackay last weekend, the big 5-2 victory in the FFA Cup as Thompson goes from downrange, but no trouble for Brandon Cumineo. Of course, Olympic now through the round of 16 after that 5-2 win against Bayswater at Perry Park on Wednesday evening. And also Mackay Magpies Crusaders also through in that all-Queensland battle against Coomera. Coomera putting up a great account of themselves, but ultimately couldn't get there in the end.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, wasn't it, to see a community club bow out in the late stages, but it looks like we've got all the NPL through, and it'll be an interesting match in a couple of Wednesdays' time with Brisbane Strikers versus Wellington Phoenix. That will be a massive, massive game, won't it?
Of course, a lot of upheaval at the Phoenix over the off-season, the departure of coach Mark Rudin, so they've basically got to start from scratch again. And also on that night, the Raw travelling to Sydney to take on Sydney FC and looking to defeat an A-League side for the first time in the FFA Cup and try and get them back into the round of 16. It'd be great to have 4 Queensland sides. It'd be a quarter of the competition if we could get that equation through the round of 16.
Wouldn't it be fantastic? And I mean, the Raw, they've had a good pre-season so far, winning 11-0 yesterday against the Gladstone Select side there in central Queensland. So they'll be full of confidence, I'd imagine, in these early stages as well.
Here's Lasm. He turns the ball over to Jared. This is a better 3 or 4 minutes for Lions. They've camped up in that forward 3rd. Kim turns away from his opponent in Panza. And Thompson looks like he'll backtrack all the way back to his keeper in Borean. He's just going to take some time. Lucas is going to come in and provide some pressure, and eventually Borean forced to clear away. Cut out by James Cumineo. Smith and now White. Good tackle in from Simic. Brindle South. Henry Hoare. Brindle South again. The switcher play on the left for Thompson. He's got acres of room to move in. No one really coming to him from Olympics. Deus is dropping off. Now Makwase. Confronted by White. Dances inside. White does Makwase, the Colombian. And Kim tried the slide ball through for the channel of Joe Duckworth, who was anticipating, but anticipated the wrong way, and a relieving free kick here to the home side.
Definitely a fast-paced early few minutes, isn't it? It's gone like a flash, and it's been a couple. It's been when they've done a slow touch, they've really been pounced on. So, not given a moment to make a mistake.
You wouldn't expect anything less from these two sides. Of course, grand finalists last year. Oh, and Brandon Cumineo was in no man's land. Slipped at the inopportune time, but that Lions player, I think it was Mitch Hoare, couldn't get a venomous shot away. Panzer was backtracking to try and get back and clear the line, but could have been danger there for Olympic, and immediately they looked to go down the other end of the park, but the whistle has been blown here against the home side.
That was a puff out your cheeks moment, that one, wasn't it? I tell you what, if only you got a good connection, that could have been rustling the back of the net in these early stages.
And Makwase now caught offside. There's been quite a few of those early doors. So as I said, it was third versus second coming into this evening's match. Olympic with 17 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses. A bumper, 77 goals for, 28 against. That puts them first in terms of attack, third in defence. It's in really big contrast to Lions, or almost similar. Lions in second with an 18-win, 2-draw, 2-loss equation. And they sit third in attack, but first in defence. A stingy 18 goals conceded through 23 games, or 24 games it would be so far, trying to count the buys.
It's not a bad record, that one, is it, at all, for the defence?
As I said, sitting 4 points behind Peninsula at the moment going into this encounter. Olympic 7 points off the pace, but Peninsula's played one more game than both of those. So in theory, if Lions can get the 3 points tonight, they're sort of ahead of Peninsula, or at least the points on the board are more valuable than points you've got to chase.
That's exactly right. It'll be a mental game after that, won't it? Definitely. But I think, you know, what Peninsula Power have done as well coming into the NPL this year is nothing short of amazing, really.
A remarkable win that streak where they went undefeated for almost 2 years across 3 leagues.
Unbelievable.
Only real losses in the FFA Cup against Lions last year, and then again in the campaign this year. That match last week, the Olympic played with their loss, ended an 8-match winning record for the host side, while Lions currently in a 14-match unbeaten streak, 5 wins in a row. Ironically, that 14-game unbeaten streak started against Olympic in the corresponding fixture in the start of the year. Here's Smith, straight into the back of the legs of Jared, and looks to immediately clear. Looks to be Henry Hoare up against Ito. That's the danger when you're in good form, Andy, like 14-match unbeaten streak, but the more you win, the closer you are to a loss.
That's exactly right, and you always, it's in your back of your mind, isn't you, when you're playing, you go, we've got to keep it going, but what happens if we do lose this one? But I mean, just then Alex Smith, he makes himself look like he's got so much time on the ball, doesn't he? It's
just effortless, isn't it? He's just an amazing player to watch, and as people were commenting on social media after Wednesday's game, he'd easily fit into an A-League setup. So too could that bloke Jez Lofthouse.
Yeah, and that's what we were saying on Wednesday night as well. I was surprised that he hasn't really been tapped up yet, as obviously he's a youngster in the NPL, and every time he gets the ball, it's just so exciting with Jez Lofthouse.
Here's another one, Lucas. Trialled for the Brisbane Roar back in 2013, but wasn't successful in getting a contract at the City's A-League side. Plenty of talent going around in the NPL Queensland that you'd figure, if given the chance, that could easily step up to the professional level.
I would say so. I mean, you look at Dylan Wenzel-Hall, he fit in quite well last year, to be honest, and when he came through, it'll be really interesting to see it now, coming into this next season for the A-League, see how he fits into that setup, as he's a bit more comfortable and confident. So I would love to see the likes of Jez Lofthouse and Chris Lucas given a go. Why not?
Maybe Robbie Fowler's watching this tonight, Andy, and might be a keen observer.
Who knows?
Here's Lazem. Neither side just able to retain possession in the key areas at the moment. Perhaps a bit of a cagey start, feeling themselves out. There's been no real shots on goal that either keeper has had to deal with so far.
Yeah, it's been very fast-paced, but there's not really been any clear-cut opportunities for goals.
Well, that was a dangerous ball by Lofthouse, straight back into the pack. Mitch Hall was waiting for Lyons, and now Simic, a heavy bump. It's a fair bump. He's copped it, Steve White, straight back to the feet. And Duckworth will be caught offside this time. Martius Simic, that was a hit and a half.
That was like hitting a car, I'd imagine. That was.
He said that one was mine, and I'm not stopping. Get out of my way.
That's exactly right. Good on him.
Here's Glover. There is White. Copped that heavy knock before. Kim stood out in every game that I've seen him for Lions this year. Danny Kim. As Brandon Kimineo forced to come out of his area to clear that ball.
He's never shy to come out of his area, though, is he? He's a high starter goalkeeper and acts as a defender almost, doesn't he? That sweeper at the back, which is exactly what you want from your goalkeeper, comfortable with the ball at their feet.
Winner here in 2013 in the underage grand finals for the QAS. It was back 6 years ago. Here's Brindle South. That Lions player squeezed in between the two defenders, and once again the flag up on the far side. So quarter of an hour played, no goals here at Goodman Park in our round 25 NPL Queensland match of the round.
The assistant referee over that side might have a sore shoulder by the end of this game. There's been a lot of offsides early on, isn't there?
Looks like he's having a quick chat to Ben Kahn on the bench, who must have said a word or two.
Yeah, the Lions player just kicked the ball away after they got it back, so a bit of aggravation there.
Well, Football Queensland is excited to announce the launch of a new referees website, a comprehensive online resource for referees across Queensland. The website has been developed to assist match officials of all skill levels and qualifications to grow their understanding of the game and progress through refereeing pathways in the state. As the crowd licks out a collective ooh. Referee David Walsh just checking on Joe Duckworth.
Definite free kick there. You can't argue with those ones. He's come from behind and taken the lot. You just can't make tackles from behind these days like that.
So Thompson about to line up this free kick. Crowded pack at the edge of the area. Let's see what the movement's like when Thompson delivers his ball in. Here it comes. Oh, it's been a bit of a contest there in the area. Dealt with by Olympic. Panzer. In fact, it was Panzer. One back by Mitch Hall for Carlos. Got Deus as his opponent. I'm just content to play it into the legs of his Olympic opponent. And allow him to get back in the mix, and Thompson potentially with a long throw into the area here.
They can be dangerous, can't they, the long throws? They're almost like a corner kick if they get them right. And
he hasn't got quite the same run-up area that he would at other grounds, but yeah, if you can get enough run-up, it's as good as a cross-in, really, the long throw, particularly on a narrow pitch as well.
100%. You see so many goals go in from them these days, don't you? It's scary to see how it's changed and become back almost into the game.
So one match is being played in the NPL earlier today, and it was a comprehensive victory by Brisbane City, 5-0 over the Brisbane Royal Youth. That match being played at Cornubia Park. And Sunshine Coast Wanderers are assuring that the final round of the FQPL is going to be an interesting one. They could have collected the premiership with the win today against Capalaba, but Capalaba, the Bulldogs, have won over the Sunshine Coast Wanderers to the tune of 1-0, so that takes it into the final round not only to decide the premiership, but also to decide the second promotion place that at least Sunshine Coast Wanderers did collect that on Wednesday night in a catch-up win.
Yeah, that's it leads for an interesting end to the FQPL, doesn't it? That's one to watch, and next weekend will be an absolute scorcher.
Capella hosting Logan with everything on the line. It'll be one of our matches for coverage next Saturday night. I think Jared next making the trip down to the Kennel. Here's Brindle South. Makwase, and flat-footed was Duckworth. Here's Deus. White, back for Deus. Could negotiate the touchline. So as always, want to know your thoughts on this game. You can let us know on the Football Queensland Facebook post for this particular game as Panzer plays it back for Brandon Cumineo. Always keen to know your score predictions, the exotic places that you're watching in from. Let's break for Lofthouse here. White with the hand up at the far post. Lofthouse delivers in, trying to put it into the top right corner. And the Olympic crowd are going, no, that probably wasn't the best option there, Mr. Lofthouse.
It's every time he gets the ball, isn't it? He's just exciting. It's electric pace off the mark. It's step overs. You just don't know what he's going to do. It's a surprise for everyone.
Who's watching in tonight, Andy?
We've got
well, let's just break as Cumineo's been caught off his line. And this has been scored. Mitch Hoare. Opportunistic goal by Lions on the 20th minute mark. Cumineo, he raced off his line. Mitch Hoare took the ball, rounded the keeper, and from long range sized up the opportunity and perfectly put it away. And Lions have got the lead after 20 minutes.
I don't know what he was thinking. There, the number one. Why would you be rushing out? You've got defenders there. There's just no need. And we were saying it before. He loves to come off his line and act as that defender. And it is a beauty for the coach when it works. But in those situations, we don't need you doing that. Stay back on your line. That was fantastic counter and break, though, from Lions. You can't take that away from them. It's 1-0.
So the visitors have struck first. Plenty of feedback. We're in the grandstands tonight and there's plenty of feedback coming in.
Aren't we getting it?
All right, so the home side now going to come from behind. Keep their premiership hopes alive.
Yeah, we've got Keith Bright watching from Auckland.
I think he's a regular watcher of ours. G'day, Keith.
There we go. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Quite a few people asking on the feed there about these coloured skins that we've got. Obviously, Lions are wearing their orange skins with a blue shirt, and not meant to be allowed, is it? But maybe as it's their normal home kit, the rest just gone, yeah.
I get confused. I don't. To be honest, I don't like. I suppose it's to try and keep a consistent look and feel, but at the end of the day, I mean, you don't want them wearing all different colours, but at least if the players are consistent in what they wear. It's one of the few times I've actually seen Lions in this strip, so they don't wear it too often. And yeah, Denny Kim and Andy Thompson, Jason Makwase in the orange long sleeves, and that's perhaps given Lions a bit of confidence with Mitch Hoare again on the ball.
Obviously, Mitch Hoare is a player to watch this game with being in the round of 24 team of the week.
Here comes the counter. Lofthouse. It just slides past the right hand upright. Almost looked from our angle as though it was going to end up in the back of the net, but just a fraction wide there from the Sunshine Coast speedster.
That was a fantastic quick break, isn't it? It doesn't take much. Those quick, short, sharp 5 metres. He's got everyone.
It's really end to end now. Up one end, then we race down the other, and I think it's picked up another leg in tempo.
It definitely has, and I think this game is what it needed, was just a goal. It's really opened it up from that cagey start. Now it's anybody's game, who knows?
Olympic chasing the equaliser, as Andy said, will probably open up this game a little. Now, I wouldn't want to concede a second, though.
How high can Chris Lucas jump?
For such a diminutive man, he'd only be about 5'5", 5'6", I reckon.
Yeah, very strong on the ball, isn't he? And showed he can jump then.
Showed he can jump on Wednesday night as well with that backwards somersault as a goal celebration.
That's exactly right. That wasn't a bad celebration, was it?
Here's Smith.
Thought about attempting to learn that and then thought twice.
Best I could do at school in gymnastics was the narrow best. I couldn't do any flips or anything like that. Here is Lucas, as we described, and meeting at the near post. Was Borean having to get down low to make the save.
He gets down extremely quick, doesn't he? He's very quick on those reflexes, like we said before.
And the assistant spotted a foul on that far side against James Cumineo.
Went for a bit of a climb, didn't he?
Still reasonably warm conditions here tonight as well. You've taken the coat off. I'm half tempted to take the jumper off. It is almost shirt weather.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's not winter. Not the winter I'm used to anyway.
Certainly winter in Brisbane. The Eckers around the corner, so perhaps the winter westerlies are on their way. Here's the free kick from Lions. I think it was Thompson on that far side. And once again, the flag is going to go up from the assistant.
Those free kicks, they're hitting hopes really, because it was a bit too lofty, and you know, you have to get a lot of power on those if you're going to head that into the back of the net. You like those ones come quick, just change that direction of the ball. It's in the back of the net before you know it. Whereas that one needed a lot of work with it. Asking a lot from his teammates.
Here's Deus.
And here the Olympic fans in full swing now, trying to rev their team back up to get that equaliser they so desperately need.
25 minutes gone, 20 to go. Possession going Lions' way, 58-42 at the moment. Smith plays in Lucas. Lucas, he's one-on-one now with the keeper. It was Simic with the tackle. And away they go, Lions through Carlos. Henry Hoare, Duckworth. Now Mitch Hall, the goal scorer. Kim. The referee spotted a free kick for an earlier infringement, was trying to play the advantage. It wasn't coming off.
That was a fantastic save, wasn't it? He made himself nice and big. No room of the goal left to shoot out for Chris Lucas, who knows how to find the back of the net. And just a fantastic save all round.
4 shots for Olympic compared to just the 2 for Lions. And we're about to see an early substitution. So James Cumineo is going to make way. This looks to be more of a tactical substitution than any sort of injury.
Substitution for Olympic, number 22, James Cumineo, making way for number 17, Danny Driver.
So Danny Driver comes on in 17, so interesting move there from Ben Carn. He's obviously spotted something. I think Cumineo is also a little bit fired up by a few incidents, so perhaps he's just elected to cool Cumineo down, and a shake of the hand, and can't spot any visible injury or ice about to be applied, so we can only assume that that was a technical substitution, as I said.
He doesn't look like he's holding any particular part of his body, did he? But
although the physio is over there tending to him, maybe we haven't quite assessed the situation. We'll find out more about that later. Now, no, the flag's going to go up here against Duckworth. Assistant was just waiting for Duckworth to get a touch on the ball.
Tell you what, I wouldn't like to be an assistant on a day like this when it is so quick, those attackers, aren't they? And it's just split second.
Having been a linesman in a former life, it's difficult sometimes. It's great when the defence holds back and you really don't have to make a decision, but when it's like that, makes for a challenging night, Andy. It challenges you as an assistant referee. Not a boring night.
No, definitely not. What did you prefer when you were an official? Did you prefer centre, or did you prefer being on the line as assistant?
I was actually probably a better linesman as a referee, but that was going back a long time ago now. Here's Lofthouse. Olympic will be looking to him to try and put a spark and get a goal back. He's tried the wrong foot. Brindle South delivers the cross in. Lucas was facing the wrong way, however. Now it's Lazem. Deus in a triangle with White. Back for Lazem. Squeezed by White for Deus. Lazem. And no one in a red and white shirt in the near vicinity.
No, thinking a step ahead there almost, hoping that his teammates would be there, but unfortunately on the back heels and couldn't make it.
So the long clearance from Borean.
You see what he was trying to do there? It wasn't a bad effort. It wasn't just a hit and hope, was it? He was trying to make that through ball almost to get another go on goal.
Put forward by Deus for White. Cut out by Thompson. Kim. Makwase. Kim on the halfway line for Lions. Looking for a free kick. Referee David Walsh keeps the whistle by his side. And again, Duckworth has fallen foul. And that goal wasn't going to end up anyway because it hit the post and deflected away from goal.
It was looking like that would be a fantastic finish, wouldn't it? But obviously flags up anyway.
Lions certainly show their intent in attack. Have been the better in attack. More chances in terms of potential opportunities, but the offside flag up probably now half a dozen times or so.
Yeah, they're very quick off the mark, but a bit too quick, it seems, and a bit too eager, and they've been caught a few times.
Well, LD Miniroos Kickoff in a nutshell is an introductory program for children aged between 4 and 9 years old. Each weekly 45-minute game based, and each child receives an LD Miniroo participant pack, which includes a boot bag, football, water bottle, and a sticker sheet. Can't forget the sticker sheet. My nieces love the stickers, sticking them all over themselves.
And it's A-League branded now as well, so they support the Brisbane Roar. They've got it all Brisbane Roar stickers, which is quite cool.
Well, here's Smith up against Jared. Jared does well, the youngster, in front of the more experienced man. Tommy Jared, he's another player who wouldn't look at a place in an A-League side, and I think he's, about 19 or 20 up against the veteran in Alex Smith, and no nerves whatsoever.
It's just fantastic, isn't it? It's so good to see the youngsters come to life.
Now here's Lucas. It's just steered a fraction away from the target. And a goal kick will be the result. Almost opened up the one-on-one opportunity. Any chances sort of Olympic have had, sort of been steered away from goal, not towards goal.
So quick off the mark as well, isn't he, Chris Lucas? It's those 5 yards, the sprint over the 5 yards that just makes that whole lot difference. And unfortunately, it didn't come to light there.
So Borean once again sending the goal kick deep. Ends up in Lions attacking half. On by Glover. Now Deus in a foot race with Makwase. Makwase initially beats Deus. There were 3 Olympic players ringing him, and that forced the mistake. Smith has come deep into his half in search of the ball.
It's a little bit too casual, isn't it?
Yeah, Lions have earned it back again. Mitch Hall.
You see what he was trying to do there, but unfortunately it didn't come off. Try and flick it around for him to receive it again. It was almost a 1-2 with himself.
And they build up again now. Smith. Lofthouse. Lucas waiting back post. Sliding ball through in search of Smith, but once again Tommy Jarrett with the intervention. That allows Kim, and once again Duckworth flat-footed, not wanting to advance on his run too early, but he had a bit more room to play than what he thought, I think, that time round.
Yeah, I think so. That was, again, midfield just a step above, and didn't read it, Joey Duckworth.
Deus called for it, and that's exactly where it came. Switch of play it was. Lines are mopped up again. Here's the skipper, Simic. Trying to play with the acute angle down this left-hand touch line, and in the nick of time, Thompson gets there in front of Mitch Hall. Sends the ball into the big crowd on the terraces here at Goodwin Park. Thompson a little bit of indecision. Can't get forward, so we'll go backwards to his skipper, Simic. Borean. And Kim.
Asking for a free kick there, Olympic.
Marquase. Once again, the Olympic defenders crowd him. Henry Hall had his shot blocked. Lofthouse has come deep this time, and Smith on the halfway line.
Beautiful.
But it picked out Lazem perfectly. Lazem unfortunately couldn't back up the work of his teammate. Once again, Olympic turned it over right at the edge of the attacking third.
Seems to be very well compact in there from Lions. They're closing the balls out quite well. A couple of times it has broken through. Chris Lucas and Jez have both shown their pace to get to the ball, but can't make anything of it and get a really clear-cut shot away, can they, at this stage?
Mitchell. Brindle South had the right idea. Just a fraction over hit from Mitchell, though. Brindle South not quick enough to be able to reel that one in. So under 10 minutes now to the half-time break, and Lazem not had the best night out there so far.
No, I mean, just a lot of the touches have been a bit off, haven't they? From himself. A bit lethargic maybe after the Wednesday night's game.
Once again, Lucas the target up front, and Simic equal to the task, however.
Fortunately, just not going to break Lions' defence with a ball like that. It's too straight, needs to bend those runs and hold on to the ball a bit longer. There was no need to force that ball. And, it'll only leave with Chris Lucas getting a bit frustrated if he has to keep making those runs time and time again. Oh, fantastic touch.
It's Lofthouse, shaped to pull the trigger. Lucas couldn't get it on first time, and diving to his right. Borean denies Chris Lucas. Once again, Chris Lucas proving how potent he can be in front of goal. Good first touch, but Borean got down and made the save and denied Olympic the equaliser.
Yeah, that was fantastic from Jez Lofthouse, wasn't it? I mean, first touch over the top, control back, brilliant ball into Chris Lucas as well. Unfortunately, couldn't put it into the back of the net. So one of probably the best chances for Olympic, would you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. That was probably the, what's the word I'm looking for? Biggest save. It's not the biggest save. What can I say? It's the hardest save that Borean has been forced into tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, the most tricky he's had to deal with, isn't it? I mean,
it's been a long week, Andy.
Yeah. We're at Sunday now, mate.
Sunday night, dreaming of sleep, ready for the working week.
That's it. I wouldn't say there's been too many chances either side. Obviously, Lions are 1-0 up, but that was kind of a half a chance that's gone in, hasn't it? That's been created for them, almost served on a plate. Here you go, have a shot. Normally, you wouldn't be shooting from that distance out, would you? So, do you agree with that?
I do agree with that, and there's a handball against Lucas, who then flies in. Apologetic hand to Sean Carlos, who just taps the Olympic player on the back of the back.
He's been in the NPL for a few years now, hasn't he, Sean Carlos? He had that little stint at the Strikers, and back to Lions he comes after playing his youth there.
2015 Brisbane Premier League Player of the Year. Been at Lions for all that time through his junior setup. Made the tough decision to try and seek out some NPL action in 2016 at Brisbane Strikers, as you said. Didn't quite work out through a number of circumstances, injury, and then halfway through 2017, back to Lions, and really hasn't looked back and looked out of place once again back in the Lions setup.
It's fantastic to see that loyalty, really. He went to seek the higher standard as Lions were then in the Brisbane Premier League, and good on him for coming back and being loyal to his boyhood club, which is, you just don't see it enough, I don't believe.
Very rare to see a player go from juniors all the way through to seniors, and Deus, he's tested the referee there. First yellow card of the evening will come the Olympic players' way, and now a bit of a bump and shove with Joe Duckworth.
Put the handbags away, boys, eh? It's, yeah, risky challenge to make, but he's got the yellow card, and let's move on, play the game.
Experience of David Walsh, of course, a former FIFA assistant referee. Very good at being able to calm the troops and just keep the flow of the game going.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to man management, doesn't it, when they're reffing and officiating this level, and he's done a fantastic job so far in this game with about 5 minutes left of the half.
Simich's free kick for Carlos. Makwase, just slips at the inopportune moment there.
I think that pre-game water of the field has been the reason for a couple of slips and poor touches. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. As you'd expect at this time of year, a few bumps and grazes in the field, and if you just catch your foot in the wrong time, as long with that slick surface, then can go awry every now and then.
Yeah, definitely.
Here's Lucas. Back to goal, however, White. You're going to have to go backward to come forward. Panza. Ito. Got Lofthouse in front of him. Lofthouse leaves it for the Japanese.
That'll be an Olympic throw. They tried to cheekily get that one, didn't they?
However you can try and earn it. Here's Deus. White. Plenty of numbers getting back in blue. Smith tries to buy himself some room around Jared Lofthouse. Lions defenders immediately coming to any Olympic player, pressing hard. Thompson against Deus this time. Deus almost looked like he had half a hole. Latham tried to dink one over for Lucas. The Olympic players go up for handball. The claims fall on deaf ears. Duckworth will get the last touch on that one.
It's just well closed out from Lions there. There was nowhere the Olympic players could go. They were trying to move the ball in and out and just couldn't do it. Ooh.
Tug of the shirt there on Deus, and the referee and his assistant have spotted it. Thompson, the offender, has a few choice words to say to David Walsh.
It's a free kick all day, every day, isn't it? You can't pull a player's shirt and bring him down like that. And let's see what they can do off the set piece, which we know from set pieces you can be lethal, hey? We've seen it so many times. And I think a lot of teams changed their set pieces and how they did it from watching the World Cup last year in 2018. Do you think a lot of teams started thinking, hang on, this is more opportunity to score some goals here?
So 2 in the wall for the visitors. Free kick's taken off the left foot by White. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Olympic in a good position to try and search for an equaliser. Lofthouse the man here, and the flag once it went up and then it stayed down. So Will be an offside call at the end.
Wonder who they were calling offside there, if it was Jez himself, because it seemed like passed the ball with himself.
It was interesting. I think that the assistant put the flag up and then put it back down. David Walsh had already spotted it. I think she spotted a player that could have potentially got involved in the play, but a bit quick, but no real complaints from the Olympic players in the end.
No, it was an interesting one for sure. It's such a hard decision to make anyway. We can't
Particularly
really
in a crowded pack like that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Get some distance on those kicks, can't he?
He can boom them, Mr. Borean. Throwing comes down the line. Is there an opportunity perhaps for Lions to double the advantage prior to the break? Chris Lucas might have something to say about that though. Good recovery from the Lions defence. Here's Thompson. Too quick for Makwase. At the feet of Brandon Cumineo, who after that earlier mistake hasn't had a lot to do in the last 20 minutes or so since that goal was scored.
And he's not been so quick to come off his mark since, has he, either? I think he's learnt from his mistake there and take that confidence back a little bit and focus on what's between those sticks.
Lofthouse takes it off Smith. Lazem. Oh, good nick in by Danny Kim. Makwase. Kim the ball through for Duckworth. This time he's onside, and I think he was trying to play it past one of his teammates, but just scuffed the opportunity. This 45 minutes is now completed. So we head into the stoppages. Shouldn't be any more than 60 seconds of those. Just the one substitute and the one goal to contribute to any stoppage time.
Do you think there's been a standout player for this half so far?
No, I think you're right. Hard to pick out any one player at the moment.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of been a bit equal. There's not been one that's better than the other at this stage.
Lucas, a lofted ball towards the back stick. Lofthouse tries to get up high. Drifts over his head, and Brindle South is sent it onto the street. Smith with a one last-ditch effort before the half-time break.
He's getting bullied off that ball then, wasn't he? With two players sandwiching him. You're not having this ball, Alex.
So physically strong on the ball too, Alex Smith. It takes a lot to knock him away.
Yeah, definitely.
Dias is going to try and put his side on level terms, but it's not to be. The half-time whistle blows, and here at Goodman Park in our round 25 NPL Queensland match of the round, the lone goal to Mitch Hall 21 minutes in is what separates the side, with Lions leading Olympic by 1-0. Andy, what have you made of the first half?
I think it's been a quick game, very fast-paced, back to the walls, isn't it, really? But I'd like to see the game open up the second half, a few more chances, and let's see these keepers get tested into the second half.
All right, well, the players are off to the sheds. We're going to take a break ourselves. We'll be back for second half action very shortly here from Goodman Park. But it's the visitors, Lions, who lead Olympic by 1-0.
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit.
It's healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebration.
What's your reason? Join our team.
swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade. We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
When did sharing food photos become more important than sharing a plate with someone you care about? It's time to put down the phones, pick up a menu and reconnect at the coffee club. With excellent coffee every time, a choice of meals to suit everyone, and surroundings that make it easy to share a moment. Because at the coffee club, meeting up means more. Where will I meet you?
Hi, Phil here. I'm at Logan Central Kaleidoscope Kids doing the Nabai Indigenous Games program. This is a program that we do every week at a number of childcare centres around South East Queensland. The Nabai Indigenous Games program uses Indigenous games from around Australia and traditional dreaming stories from around the country to teach kids gross motor skills, social skills, and some of the life values and lessons that are a part of Indigenous culture in Australia. Today we did 3 separate games. We started off with Wanumbi, which is a chasing and sneaking game where the kids have to learn to work together. We did Munhunganing, which is another running and tagging game, And we did Pally 1, which is a hiding game, followed by tagging, where kids learn about spatial awareness.
Stomp your feet like a brontosaurus.
New Mazda 2. Join the 2 tribe.
Don't be afraid, don't hold back, just come and do it. You know, we're a bunch of old women that got involved and never done it before, and we have a lot of fun, so come and do it.
Honestly, the energy has been great and everybody's just enjoying it so much, and it's been a really good competition.
It doesn't matter what your skill level is, just come and have fun, that's what it's about. And, you know, as you can hear and see behind me, it's a lot of fun, everyone's getting involved.
It's a great opportunity, these carnivals, for players to measure themselves against other players around the state.
Our kids have learned a lot of lessons. We've had some very challenging games, been good quality games, and it's been a good exposure for the players that don't get the opportunity to play this level of teams to get the challenges and move forward with it and learn from the experience.
Well, I see the SAP like the foundations of a house. We're trying to develop the technical skills needed to play at a high level. I think in 2020, through the success of the carnivals we've done this year, is probably to invite SAP teams from around Australia and make it bigger. So rather than them playing teams that they're used to playing, they'll play against teams from other states.
My favourite part about playing football is that it's fun. Because it's fun and it improves your ability to do stuff. Because it's fun and you get to have fun and meet new people. It's just the game I play and it's a lovely sport. And because it's fun and I'm playing with my friends.
I like to play football because it's a great experience to make new friends.
I like to play football because it's fun, you don't have to use your hands, and it's really fun to play. Teamwork, passing, and to never give up. All that matters is just have fun and do your best.
And welcome back to Goodwin Park. You can see Olympic jogging on to the pitch. Match officials waiting just outside the fence for the visitors to make their emergence for the second half. If you have just joined us, it was Mitch Hoare in the 21st minute that scored his 5th goal of the season and the only goal of the night thus far. And Lions stick within 1 point of Peninsula on the points table. 1-0 leaders over Olympic. Andy Allen joining Rafe Griffin this evening. And Andy, you're playing the role of coaches Khan and Moon in the respective dressing rooms this evening. What would you have said to your charges at half-time?
You'd be saying to Lions, you know, keep defending the way you're defending, but let's be a bit more lethal at attack. Let's take those opportunities when they come across. And with Olympic, they just need to make quicker moves. You know, let's make that. A lot of time I was saying to yourself at half time that when they're passing it through to Chris Lucas is aiming towards the corner flags. Can we get him facing goal straight away and get a shot away? Because that is where he is lethal and he's a dangerous weapon when they give him the ball there. And he loves seeing the ball rustle the net, really. So let's see what we can do. I think the game will open up this second half. It has to. Olympic need these goals. They want to come out. They want to win. And like you were saying, no team wants to lose it as much as they want to win it. And it has created a cagey first half. But let's come out all guns blazing and hopefully, it can make a good second half.
If Lions want to come out for the second half, here they come. They're coming out now. Someone asked on the Facebook post about Matt Mundy and his injury. Well, he's about 5 metres away from us down in front there. He's got a hot beverage, trying to keep warm. Looks like, I think he's always had troubles with his back, and I think that's what he succumbed to on Wednesday night as well. It's certainly no packaging around the legs or anything like that. So just managing that ongoing back condition. Not sure how many weeks it will be until we see Matt Mundy out in the park. Maybe 3 games in 7 days was just enough and just needed to be rested up for this evening and might be back next weekend again.
Yeah, definitely. Injuries are so hard, aren't they, when you're playing continually, and it's really strenuous on the body and it takes its toll. Matt Mundy's been around for a long time now playing football at the highest levels, so that would definitely have taken a toll on his body, I'd imagine. As is. Here they come.
So once again, Lions in a bit of a huddle. I think David Walsh, the referee, is trying to give Marty Simic a bit of a hurry on. Olympic are ready to play. Jez Lofthouse having a few words to someone in the grandstand, a few nods of the head. Maybe his dad's here around. I've seen him around most of the games this year.
He's a proud Olympic supporter of his boy, isn't he? So are you sticking with the 3-3, mate, or are you going to change that?
No, I don't think it'll be 3-3 now. On the balance of probability and what we've seen through the first 45, I don't think we're going to see too many goals. As I said to you, it's plenty on the line. If it, obviously in the first fixture this year, 5 goals in it, but this time round, cagey's not quite the right word. Both teams obviously going for the win, but at the same time, definitely do not want to drop points in terms of keeping in touch with Peninsula.
Yeah, definitely. It's a hard one to call. I definitely think I might take that 3-2 back as well that I said at the start of the game. I think we were hoping for a lot of goals, but maybe a 2-1 win Olympic, I'll still tip. There.
So as I said, on the live ladder, Lions now move within 1 point of Peninsula to get underway for second half action. Now NPL match of the round. Lions with 3 points ahead of Olympic tonight, so if this scoreline remains, Olympic would be 6 points behind second, 7 points behind first, with, what have we got, 5 games remaining.
Leaving it very, very hard for themselves if they don't pick up a win here to finish in that top spot.
I've always had the theory that if you've got more points to chase than rounds left to go, you're pretty much done and dusted.
It's a very good theory to have, to be fair. I've never thought of it like that. Ooh.
Referee allowing advantage as Henry Hall played the long ball forward, but earlier in the piece, his brother Mitch had been upended by one of the Olympic players, so David Walsh coming back for that infringement. Look at all this food that's around us too, Andy. It's pretty good here at Olympic.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. The smells are coming through, aren't they? It must be dinner time for us soon.
I'm sure the people have just come here for a Sunday night dinner rather than having to cook at home. Oh, that's a miscued effort there from the Olympic player. Here's Mitch Hoare. Makwase tries to get in behind Glover. In fact, it's Deus who was doing the defence. And there is Deus, plays it off for White. Hemmed in their corner there at the moment are Olympic, trying to fight their way out. Eventually do so on the left-hand side through the Japanese Ito. Now Lofthouse. Brindle South, a picture of concentration.
Didn't have too many options there, Jez, when he got the ball. It was either take him on or go nowhere else, really, because Lions have closed in that middle of the park, and the defence, they've closed it out very, very well.
Smith. Free man on the right-hand side is Deus. Chips one through, slides past Lucas. And too far for Lofthouse, but that's not a bad endeavour from Olympic.
Fantastic ball first time from Alex Smith, but take a touch to get that ball back in the box, because you had players arriving, and that could have been very, very dangerous.
David Walsh says to Josh Brindle South, hey, don't leave the ball behind like that. Play it back for your keeper so we can get the play quickly running. And here is Borean. Once again, a booming clearance towards the halfway line. Slight bump in the back by Panzer of Olympic. Lazem is down immediately. The referee stops play. I just missed that one there, Andy. What happened?
Just got kicked on the head on the way through. It was nothing deliberate. He's trying to run over him, the Lions player there, and just nicked him on the back of the head, unfortunately, as he slipped over. So let's hope he's all right, though. It's never nice.
Of course, head injuries these days, ultimate concern paid to that. Immediate stop of play.
And rightly so, too, really. I mean, we saw the Hull City player a couple of years ago go in against Gary Cahill, didn't we, in intensive care. Luckily, he came through the other end, but it's very, quite dangerous, really.
Sporting handshake between Lazem, who will retreat to the far sideline, and Mitch Hoare. As you said, accidental, and good sportsmanship from both players to just give a little bit of a bump at the low fives.
It was his first touch again, though. They let him down, and that's why he slipped over. And it's been like that the whole first half, so needs to sort that first touch out.
So Olympic immediately back to their full complement of 11. Here's Deus again. Lucas. Lucas tried to chip it off the left. Smith. Looks like Deus has just been given a bit more of a roaming commission down that right-hand side. Here's some other quickness. Makwase. He's got Duckworth inside of him. Now it's Mitch Hoare. Turnover of the ball. Deus involved. White. Was there a free kick? Yes, says the referee.
I think he wanted to see if they had the ball still to play that advantage, didn't he? But well done, referee.
Letting the game flow, David Walsh, as much as he can.
He's showing his experience, right, as a referee. Very good man management and trying to let it flow, but that one didn't allow him to, obviously.
Glover. Deus. White. Lazem. Now it's Panzer, the New Zealander. Giving away the ball again in cheap territory. Not sure did he get to it first. Ito's going to recover. He's looking for the corner. And he won't get the decision.
That was good pace to make up for that one, because his teammate made a bit of a meal of it, to say the least there. I'd like to see Jez Lofthouse get the ball a bit more this half, higher up as well, not so far back into his own half, and drive at those defenders, take them on.
Here's Carlos.
Brilliant tackle.
Olympic supporters appreciating the efforts of Kazu Ito. Smith tries to earn the ball back. Simic, lazy touch for Lofthouse to come in and collect. Lazem, back heel by Makwase, still going to end up with Deus. And White was claiming handball.
What did you think there? That was a hard one to call. He wasn't too far away, but it did hit his hand, didn't it?
I'm going to deviate. I didn't realise that in the FFA Cup we were playing the new handball rule on Wednesday night, which would have been good to have known as a commentator had something like that come up. Hadn't brushed up on my new rules just yet.
Yeah, it's that was an interesting one. I think that right wing was very, very exposed just then, though, for Olympic, and they need to be exploiting that this second half by the looks.
Here's Duckworth. He leaves it behind now. Lazem picks out Lofthouse. It's scrappy. Carlos, Kim, Carlos. Lazem recovers this time. Lofthouse tries to outrun Kim. Smith with a bit of room. Good ball. Couldn't get to Deus, however. Thompson with the cutout work. Makwase. And Deus now up against Makwase. Thompson gets to it first. Now who's going to regain and retain possession here for a little bit of time to have some control on the ball? Smith tries to calm down the situation. Decides that Deus is the best option.
Probably not where he wanted that ball to go, did he? He wanted to probably go a bit in front of him, but hey, they've kept the ball, and this is probably the longest either team has kept the ball this second half, isn't it?
Ito with both arms outstretched. White spotted the signal. Lofthouse. White. They're being patient here, Olympic. Not being allowed too much forward progress by their opponent. Lucas flicks it up for himself. And almost the rebound, able to chase it up, but not before Borean can get to it.
That was a fantastic ball across, wasn't it? Very, very well weighted.
Straight down the other end to Brandon Cumineo. Referee's whistle's been blown. Quickly taken by the home side.
Cameron Brazers just said hi on the Facebook live stream. Hey mate, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the game so far.
Tight testing encounter. As we said, neither side, obvious statement, want to drop points. A draw wouldn't be an ideal result for either side either. Be a result that Peninsula would be cheering.
Yeah, it would take them that further bit clear, wouldn't it? And what a fantastic end to the season that we're going to have all round, really. It's really, really exciting.
We know the top four. We just got to find out which order they're going to finish in order to determine the round one final setup. Of course, the premiers will go on to play in the National NPL Championships once again, represent Queensland.
Lions did that well last year, didn't they?
Made it all the way to the grand final. Strikers a couple of years ago against Heidelberg. Would be good third time lucky for a Queensland side. And now here's Henry Hall. He's put it away. Lions have doubled their advantage. Think the cross may have actually come from his brother. The Hall brothers, as they did in their last match against the Gold Coast Knights, have scored both the goals for Lions.
Well, there we go, 2-0. They've got that advantage now, and it is up to Lions now. It's their game to lose, as we'd say.
So Henry Hall, second goal in as many matches.
Wow.
And Lions have doubled the advantage.
I tell you what, it was Olympic looking very, very scary this second half in the first 10 minutes. But Lions, that quick counter, they've come out and popped one in the back of the net to make it 2-0, which sets them even further away now from Olympic, and Olympic have to have a reaction early on now to make anything out of this game.
So Olympic need to score at least 3 times to keep their premiership hopes alive. Could be a racing 2 by the stroke of 8 o'clock tonight if this result remains. Olympic support off to our left, trying to fire up their side. Be about a dozen of them down there in the active support area. Banners flying.
There was a lot more than that on Wednesday night. It was just fantastic. Their voices must be sore. They must be resting them today, because they were just singing for the whole 90 minutes, if not more. It is really true what they were saying about the 12th man being the crowd, because they just did not stop. Got it to our right as well by the sounds.
Surrounded by it. Referees chat on the run to Chris Lucas.
Creates good atmosphere though, doesn't it? You know, when you've got the crowd, and we're sitting here in the stands, and it is just absolutely packed tonight. It is a full house, and it's fantastic to see so many people turning up and watching what's a good game of football.
So Borean's free kick. Looped over the head by Deus. And right in front of the Lions technical area. It's been a collision of bodies.
That looks sore. If I'm honest, that looked very, very sore.
Yeah, Lions physio comes on. It didn't spot the player. Just trying to grab a look on a replay, but just going to allow the players a momentary opportunity. Lazem is the man in for Olympic, it looks like. He's going to collect the yellow card. Duckworth, it might be. No, it's Duckworth wandering over towards here.
Yeah, that was just a bit of a risky challenge. He's come off now for that as well. Maybe copped a bit of an injury there.
So Lazem is off and Costa Saros on in 12. So an attacking move by Olympic coach Ben Kahn.
What's he got to lose now? He's really got to go for it, hey, and see what they can do and see if they can grab those 3 goals, as I said at the start, 3-2.
What's Luke doing down there?
He's getting a nosebleed.
He must feel really left. He's got like left out syndrome or something like that. It is a lonely life as a keeper, but he just wants to be involved. Anyway, play restarts.
Oh, here we go.
Half a counter perhaps for Olympic as White puts it over for Lofthouse, who's got room to move in. Lucas, switch of play, Smith the target. Kim just nods calmly back to his keeper.
No rush there. That was very composed there, defending.
As I said earlier, if there's a player of the year for mine so far, it's Danny Kim. He's been the standout for me this season in the NPL.
Very
defensive midfielders very rarely win player of the year competitions though.
You're very, very right, but it's such an important role they play, ticking that game, keep it going. They're really the motor, aren't they, of that team? Pulling those strings there, and as you said, he's done it so well for the season.
Ping pongs around Carlos. There is the aforementioned Danny Kim.
Gives himself so much time when he's got the ball at his feet, doesn't he?
Rugby players once again looking for handball. Away by Borean.
Very well done.
Oh, wide and Lofthouse. Miscommunication. An hour gone. Lions in the ascendancy. There's been a bit of a tangle in back play. Shelford Deus, the usual suspect.
He's already on a yellow card as well. You better be careful.
Referee David Walsh is just going to attend in close quarters. The other offender was Mitch Hall for Lions, and here he is. Kim. Cut out by Ito, was it? No, it wasn't Ito. Brindle South. Through ball, and both Smith and Saros flat-footed. And Smith gives a bit of a quiet word to Danny Driver too, if you don't mind.
He did, definitely did. I think, again, just a bit of miscommunication in the middle of the park there, wasn't there? Just who goes for it, who gets it. No, you take it. A little bit of shirt pulling there.
Referees allowing the open play once more as Lions look to find a path to goal. It's cut back for Duckworth, who leaves it for Carlos. And Kim, and that's high and mighty over the crossbar, just throws the arms up.
He's not going to find the back of the net with a shot like that, unfortunately.
Has scored the one goal this year. All of the outfield players for Lions have got at least one goal this year. Goals obviously being shared around. And when your leading goal scorer, Marek Medley, with 16 goals, can afford to start from the bench, you know you've got plenty of attacking weapons in your side.
That's exactly it. It's a brave move, isn't it, from the coach Warren Moon. But as you said, it's not the first time he's done it.
Lofthouse has switched sides with Saros. Lofthouse punched away by Borean. Lions will get Olympic will get a second effort through Deus. Driver. Lofthouse. That's White. Deus. And can he keep it in? He can. Too strong for his opponent. That time Shelford Deus, and then lets himself down with a soft pass to Smith.
He did all the hard work, didn't he? He did all the hard work. He made control of that ball. He had it. Just that final pass was just not good, unfortunately.
Saros, the latest substitute for Olympic. Driver.
Seems to be plenty of room on that right wing over there when they've got it over on the left, so if they can get that quick switch in, they'll find themselves into that box, I'd imagine.
Lofthouse unable to weave any magic. Clearance in the nick of time in front of Lucas from Danny Kim. Lions substitutes warming up, but no immediate moves imminent, it appears, from Warren Moon. Quite comfortable with how things are going here after 65 minutes. Opens up again here for the visitors. Tucked on for Makwase, but the flag is up. Ball ends up in the back of the net, but it'll be chalked off.
I have to say, I did think that one was offside, looking from where we are. Obviously, the assistant referee has a better view than us, but yeah, good decision, I think, in the end.
Just goes to show how much pace Makwase does have and can catch a defence off guard.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be a Lions decision. Duckworth nods on. Wide attempts to clear up. Ito. Now Driver. Thompson will press hard against Lofthouse, who's then forced to play it back for Deus and then steers it long as Lofthouse continues on his run down the left-hand side. But between Thompson and Simic, they deal with the danger. And once again, Kimine off his line, and I reckon Kim, and he got that ball first time round, he might have had a bit of a pop shot from that range.
We saw Harry Kane do that, didn't we, last week, and did very well at it. I wouldn't have blamed him for giving it a go, that's for sure.
Saros looks up, looks inside as well. Decides to go himself. Delivers a low cross. Oh, that was a perfect ball for Smith, but who's there again? Captain Dependable, Martia Simic.
Absolutely fantastic ball, wasn't it? But well read from the captain himself. Very dangerous, those cutback balls in the box. Hard to defend against. Brilliant
Saros. Lucas was lurking at the far post. Had Borean been inaccurate. Not much gets past him. Luke Borean. As I said, stingy Lions defence, just the 18 goals conceded. For much of last season, they were in single digits for quite a lot of it. I think it was, 13 or 14 in the end they actually conceded.
You can see why as well, can't you? The way they've defended Olympic out of the game, and Olympic's forward line, they're in form, they're electric with pace, but they've just defended so well against them. You can see exactly why they've only conceded those 18 goals.
Lofthouse, once again at Simic. Duckworth with a heavy touch. That will allow Olympic some solace.
Looks like Olympic are going to make their third and final change as well in a little bit.
Another attacking move. Uil Scholl will be the man coming on. They might not need him if they can score here. Deus. Lofthouse! In fact, it's Smith who places it high over the bar. Smith normally dead accurate from that sort of range, but obviously just got too much under the ball and steers it over the crossbar.
If there's one player in that Olympic side that you want to be on the end of that ball, it would have been Alex Smith, wouldn't it? And normally, like you said, you would see that rustle the back of the net from Alex Smith, but that's unfortunate. That would have been a fantastic play there as well to get a goal off the end of.
So Uil Scholl, they might be just rethinking that substitute at the moment. No, he's going to come back to the halfway line. Ben Kahn must have seen something there and was either from some final instructions or maybe we won't make that change just at the moment. Here comes the change. So Uil Scholl in 15 will come on to replace Shelford Deus. So that probably means the Olympic are going to go to 3 at the back. They've exhausted their bench now. This is them now for the remaining 22 minutes. Saros and Lofthouse switch sides. Scholl is going to come in as a number 10, it looks like. This will be interesting.
Yeah, see how this...
It's almost 5 forwards there for Olympic.
Going all at it, aren't they?
As we said, it really is last chance saloon tonight. They need the 3 points to keep in the premiership race. All hope won't be lost, but it'll be a monumental task to reel in the top 2 if they can't get the full quota this evening. And they're going to need 3 goals inside the last 20 minutes to try and achieve that feat. Poked through by Smith for Lofthouse. And Brindle South arrives. Wondered where the ball went, left it behind him. But Lofthouse unable to regain his feet in time to take advantage.
The crowd was appealing for a penalty there, but definitely not. It was a good tackle, and unfortunately,
Driver. Jared. Mitch Hort. Duckworth calling for it. Instead, Mitch goes himself. Leaves it behind. Lofted up high again. Makwase, was he onside? Player's going to stay down. He didn't get involved in the play. And Lions are about to make their first change of the evening. So Jason Makwase is going to take his leave. Looks like it's Chris Hatfield in jersey 9. That will be his replacement. So the Columbians' night is done.
Would you say that Lions have been first to the ball in most occasions, or you just think they've finished the chances they've had? What do you think?
We'll just break here, Andy, at the moment, because they're about to tee up another opportunity here, potentially. Corner will keep the pressure on Olympic. Yeah, I think you're right. I think It was funny, I went and had a chat to a couple of people at half-time that probably thought that Olympic were the better side in the first half.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Lions have been first to the ball in any instances most of the time. I'd say they've just finished their chances.
Yeah. And that's what wins football games at the end of the day.
Exactly right. That's all you need to do is take those couple of chances you get. And obviously, look, they're 2-0 up. And
saw that on Wednesday night. Magpies Crusaders made the best of their chances, but Coomera had plenty of ball but just couldn't create any in. And that was the difference between the two sides. As it's been knocked around here inside the area. Now, can they launch a counter? Yes. Here's Lofthouse. He's got place to burn. Lucas inside of him. Brindle South is the man between them. Slides it through for Chris Lucas. Borean off his line. Lofthouse again. Shoulder substitute. Couldn't boot it towards goal. And it looks like the Lions have defused the situation. Borean, the primary player in that, making a save. And Lions have saved their bacon.
How quick were the Lions' defence back there? There was all go. Lofthouse was gone, Chris Lucas was gone, but Lions looked all but out of it and they would get a goal, but they were just so quick into the back of that box. Didn't leave any space for a mistake.
Looked like Lofthouse with that second opportunity might have been able to blast it through the pack as we see another change here for Lions. And Joe Duckworth off. Marek Medley, the man to come on. So the leading goal scorer for Lions this year with 16 goals. Makes his entrance with just over a quarter of an hour to play.
I don't think Duckworth has done too much in this game, is that fair to say?
Hasn't been allowed to. Whenever he's sort of broken into room, he's just sort of mistimed his runs.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously went and trialled over in the UK, didn't he? And a lot of people were tipping him maybe get a go at the Raw when Dylan Winsell-Halls did. His Western Pride teammate.
David Walsh just in to ensure that there's not too much mischief in that big gang of players. They break now as the free kick is delivered on. Oh! By Alex Smith, but it's offside. Oh. The flag has gone up against Alex Smith.
Oh, no, offside.
Luke Borean sticks their hands up in the air to the Olympic supporter who had raced down to the fence to go and celebrate the goal.
Wow.
But it won't count.
What a fantastic header that was as well. So unfortunate that that was offside. Wow.
Once again, Alex Smith in the thick of the action, proving the go-to man in these tight situations. He thought he'd scored. The assistant referee on the far side had other thoughts, however.
We nearly had a game back on our hands then, didn't we? That was a fantastic header. That's going to ramp everything up, I believe, now. They have to have a bit more belief as they've found the net, unfortunately offside.
Panthers obviously had a few words to say, and David Walsh just trying to calm him down. Steve White, the skipper, so just chimed in there momentarily. All looks well between the referee and Eric Panzer, who now jogs forward, be part of the attacking lineup to add some extra height as White chips this one towards the area. Nodded on away by Brindle South. Lions give away possession. Saros. Driver. Andy's giving the hand signals as though he's out there coaching Olympic at the moment.
I was thinking they could have come back across there to switch the play and smack down that left wing and see if they can break them down that way.
Quarter of an hour to play. Lions lead 2-0, but Olympic certainly making a game of it. What will happen in these final 15 minutes? Plenty of attack.
Keeps you on the edge of your seats, that is for sure, doesn't it? Fantastic.
Going to ground was Lucas. No whistle. Relieving free kick for the visitors. And David Walsh over for a chat with Ben Kahn. He's got the yellow card in his hand. Ben Kahn has been booked, the Olympic coach.
It's the passion coming out there for sure.
He knows what his side's up against at the moment.
Yeah.
Bit of frustration after that loss in Mackay last week.
Exactly right.
And they collected the 3 points as expected. Even a loss tonight wouldn't have been as devastating.
Yeah, they would still been in the race then, wouldn't they? This kind of kicks them down a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, the equation is that they have to win all their games at least in the last 4 rounds just to be a chance, or 5 rounds it is.
A very similar position to where they scored from the disallowed goal before.
And now Chris Lucas. Now, there's another yellow card to another one of the Olympic technical area.
He's sent off.
No, he's gone, yeah. It's Phil Canham, the assistant coach, I think, who's been given his marching orders. 2 yellow cards in very quick succession, and the frustration is boiling over, not only on the pitch, but off it as well.
This is not what helps the team that are trying to get goals to get back into this game. The last thing you need is the coaches losing their cool over there as well. You want them to keep calm.
Meanwhile, free kick's taken. Shoal! And scooped up by Borean, who's collected late. And now I think he's making the most of it.
I'd say so.
Or maybe not. Maybe it is a little bit more serious. I might have been underestimating what Luke Borean copped there. He copped a late knock. Lions physio will be coming on. Lays prone on his back there, Luke Borean. So we're 12 minutes away, plus we're probably going to have some significant stoppages in this second half.
So you've got all the Olympic support crew running over there. I think trying to get him to hurry up a little bit and move on, but he may be severely hurt. We don't know.
I hope it's in good spirit.
Definitely hope so.
So Luke, Sean Carlos, Danny Kim, just taking the opportunity to take a bit of a refresher. Can you see a way for Olympic to get 3 goals in the remaining 12?
I'd never like to say no, but at this stage I just can't see them doing it now. They've seems to have lost their cool a little bit as well. I think the passion has come out a lot. They want to get those goals, and maybe if that Alex Smith goal wasn't ruled out from the offside, I could probably have sat here and said yes, I might be able to see that happen. But right now, I don't think I can say yes to that. What about yourself?
You'd certainly think that they need to score very, very quickly to get one back and give them a bit of a boost in confidence.
Definitely.
In the game between these two sides earlier in the year, it was Marek Medley in stoppage time that scored the winner for Lions, and Olympic would be hoping for a similar approach here this evening.
I mean, we've seen games have gone and, been 2-0 down, and they've gone and won it the other team, so anything can happen, and put a fantastic game on our hands, wouldn't it, for the end there. So I hope there's a game coming back. But
Lions obviously not one to rest on their laurels. You wouldn't expect that. But this treatment continues for Luke Borean behind the goal. Just seeing if Jackson Riley, the substitute keeper, is warming up.
Doesn't look like he's
in the long tracksuit, I think, over there. But certainly no indications being made that his services will be required.
The referee's watch will be stopped, I'm sure, and the time clock up here, but it's an interesting one, isn't it?
So as we said earlier, the top 4 are pretty much decided in the NPL. It's just the order that is required to be determined. Just taking a look at the live ladder as it stands at the moment. And Peninsula, with their win last night, moved to 60 points. Lions at the moment are on 59. Olympic on 53. And Gold Coast Knights on 52. And then a big gap back to Strikers. Final top 4 really cleared out. 16 points clear.
Wow.
Of the remainder of the pack.
how well have strikers done to become that 5th position from their start of the season? It didn't look like they were going to get there at all, but well done to them.
Even Brisbane City, who of course had those points deducted.
That's right.
In the relegation zone there for a while and wasn't looking good, but they've recovered to steer clear of the relegation zone. Valuable 3 points last night for Western Pride. It's closed up the gap between them and Magpies Crusaders. 3 points between 12th and 13th place. Bottom 3 being relegated. Magpies Crusaders didn't help their chances last night in the defeat of Moreton Bay, when they were defeated by Moreton Bay last night in Mackay. And now Luke Borean is sitting up, so there's the first step. So while there might not be, well, there's certainly a couple of twists and turns at the top of the table, still plenty to play out at the bottom of the table.
Sometimes how it works out as well, isn't it? That the bottom of the table kind of end of the season is sometimes more exciting than the top half. So it's definitely one to watch because they're do or die games. They want to stay in this league and keep driving forward. So a few of the boys here passing the ball around, trying to keep warm. It's definitely dropped a few degrees, hasn't it, in the last 10-15 minutes or so.
So the Lions teammates begin to wander away from Borean. It might indicate that he'll be ready to get back up and running very shortly. We'll get play underway. Just receiving a couple of last words from the physio, just checking up that all is okay.
I wonder if he hit his neck, actually, the way he's moving over there, checking it out. I'm definitely no physio, though, so can't be saying anything.
Back on his haunches now. Looks set to continue. Just stretches out that back and hunched over. One last check from the Lions physio and stretches out the legs. Sip of water. He looks right to go for the time being.
Yeah, I'd say he looks good to go. He's he might be a very good goalkeeper, but I can't say he's well liked by the sounds of things around an Olympic ground at the minute.
Some of those active supporters have now gathered around the fence, try and give their side a bit of an extra advantage and giving Luke Borean some curry. He's wandering around freely now. So 6. I think we're probably going to have at least that in stoppages as well. So there's still plenty of time here for Olympic.
Yeah, with the stoppage time, anything could happen here. We've seen it happen before in games, and we can be optimistic that it might happen again. Create an exciting end.
They'll need to go half the park. As I said, they really need a goal in the next 2 or 3 minutes to breathe some life into their premiership quest. It's White. Needs a captain's knock. Glover. Saros. Lions giving Olympic no quarter, as you'd expect. All bar Madley behind the ball. And even he's going to try a bit of defence.
It looks so hard to break down, no matter the movement that the Olympic forwards do. And they've got so many of them on the park at the minute. It just doesn't look like they've got any space to move at the minute, does it?
Madley's not going to give White any opportunity to go backwards, to build some patience. Lofthouse. Ito. Just getting forwards in dribs and drabs at the moment. Lucas with his back to goal plays it back to Driver. Saros delivers low. and scooped up by Borean.
It's hard to find anyone in that box when they're also closed out. There's more blue shirts than there are the red and white.
Here's Lofthouse. It's all they can do at the moment, Olympic, get into this final third and then try and negotiate away either through or over those blue shirts. Saros, you can cover them with a blanket at the moment, the Lions defenders.
Definitely could. Makes it so hard to break down no matter how much they keep that ball. They play it around, and they're doing that well, and they did the latter half of that first half as well, but can't see to break it.
Well, White decides we can't get through them, let's go over them. And that tactic also unsuccessful. At least that time round.
You can really see.
Yeah, Madley's been tripped up there on the way through.
You can really see why they've only conceded the 18 goals for the season so far, can't you, the way they're defending here.
Heads are down on the Olympic players as well. There just doesn't look like a lot of spark or enthusiasm. It's obviously been a tough campaign, the 3 games in 7 days, and even though they rested key players last Sunday, didn't have a lot to do on Wednesday night. They sealed that game pretty early against Bayswater.
Definitely, I think they took their foot off the gas that last half as well, to be honest with you. They got the 5 and then obviously conceded 2, so...
Thompson. Carlos. Madley. Sizes up Ito. Side, I'll head back to the corner flag, thanks very much. It's a bit early to be playing for the corner flag now. Marek, he's got a corner though, however. What do I know about football? No, goal kick. And Marek Madley has a quiet word to David Walsh and says, "Are you sure?" Yes, I am sure, Mr. Madley. Let's start with a goal kick.
Interesting to see, isn't it, when they go to the corner flag? Oh, frustration
there,
yeah, frustration.
Saros, is it? Yeah, it was. Third Olympic player into the referee's notebook this evening. Lauren Moon's up and about.
On the other hand, Ben Khan is firmly sat down in his seat after getting that telling off. He's lost his assistant. He obviously doesn't want to go himself.
Warren Moon giving the instructions to Andy Thompson. Evening, Sarah. So free kick to Lions. They're just content to try and hold possession at the moment. Madley was there at the near post. Couldn't steer the ball towards him. Scholl's lone up front at the moment. It breaks for Olympic, however. Smith looking for options.
He was looking to get that ball over the top as quick as he could, but there was no one to receive it on the other end, unfortunately.
And this is just allowing the Lions defence a chance to come back and get their shape again. They're a bit open there, but now, as I said before, starting to get to the place where you can throw a towel over them.
They just recoup so quickly, don't they? So well organised.
Lions about to make their third and final change as the 90 minutes comes up for completion. As I said before, I think we'll probably get at least 7 or 8 minutes, I reckon, of stoppage time. There's about 6, I reckon, with the Borean injury, and then a couple of incidents before that, so maybe still 8 minutes, still plenty of time, although it is quickly running out for the home side.
We're used to seeing the high stoppages now, aren't we, with the professional game, with the VAR.
Well, here's Smith arriving on the scene, Brindle South. Great work to stop Smith getting a touch. Panzer chases hard. He's got no contest. Lions will allow Olympic to come into their attacking half. Lofthouse won't allow them to go any further than the transfers between the attacking and the midfield third, though. Well, now they've got in there Olympic, and Brindle South didn't really know what was around him. Concedes the corner anyway.
Going for the safe option there, wasn't he? Didn't look over his shoulder, though, to check.
So Ito comes short for the Smith corner, plays it back for Smith. Smith off the right foot. Last touch off an Olympic player. And the third and final change for the visitors. Who is trudging their way to the sideline, I think. It's Mitch Hoare, who of course was the furthest player on this right-hand side.
They brought in the rule it has to be the closest yet, or is that next year?
That's next year.
Getting ahead of myself.
Who is coming on for for Lions? I'd fancy be Nathan Reardon in jersey 6, the utility. He'll be a very steady head here. Almost acts as another coach. We've got plenty of instructions from Warren Moon on how the coach wants to play out this stoppage time and ensure Lions retains the lead. Going to ground was the Lions player.
Bought that free kick, didn't he?
Nathan Reardon. Gestures to the hands. Hey, let's be in no rush to get this one back into circulation. Madley, I think, is the man that was fouled, and he can sell a foul.
Buy him some time as well, why not? 2-0 up, playing the game.
A goal here would seal it once and for all for Lions. They don't really want to go for goal. They're just content to try and hold on to possession down this end of the park. I guess they thought if they were going for goal, it might have been collected by Kumino, who could have had a quick counter.
Playing it safe, aren't they? Don't want to be counter-attack, like you said.
They're about to be.
Jez on the end of it as well.
There's plenty of Lions players getting back, however. Lofthouse, shoulder lone man inside of him. Lucas now arriving. Lofthouse. Only one direction you can move in. Saros. Looping ball up. There's plenty of tall timber with Shoal there. So too is Brindle South. Tug of the shirt, and Madley evades the attention of Glover. He's angling towards goal. Here's Madley. Madley, was he held back? No, he was the holder backer, says David Walsh.
Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? And they go again straight away. That was fantastic defending again from Lions, just showing back. Nowhere to go, like you said. Just closing those doors and allowing Olympic no way in.
Ito brings it into the attacking half. Saros cuts it back. Once again, Lions defuse the situation. It was Danny Kim that time. Kept in by Saros in that far side. Switch of play. Picks out Shoal. Sizes up Brindle South. Once again, they can't get forward. It's White. Lofthouse. Ito. Need to score quickly, Olympic. Glover. Saros. He's beaten one. Has he got a corner? No, he's kept it in. Who's the last touch off? Off Saros.
What a frustrating night it would be for Chris Lucas, Alex Smith, Jez Lofthouse. who love that space and to drive into, and they've just been given zero ounces of space, and they'll be going away going, what more can we do? We've tried to move, we've got no room.
It's just one of those nights where your opponents are better than you.
Definitely so. I think they've just closed them out superbly. There's no other way to put it, especially the second half.
Nathan Reardon continuing to direct traffic. Now they need to go here, Olympic. Really got to throw caution to the wind. Just play Route 1 football, bang it forward almost, and hope in glory.
Doesn't look like they're going to resort to that just yet. They're going to keep playing their game, I guess.
Lofthouse. Once again, Lions defence, Tommy Jarrett.
It's like they've got magnets in their boots to the ball, hasn't it?
Carlos. Marek was onside, had the ball got to him. Here they go again, Olympic. White. Found Smith. Will he go himself? Scholl, touchback for Smith. Trying to buy some room to get the turn towards goal. And Ito gives away the free kick against Nathan Reardon.
You can see the frustration creeping in there with Alex Smith after that one, and hitting his knees. What can we do? How can I break him?
So Borean casually jogs over. Besides, I don't want to take it there. I'll just bring it in 20 metres or so.
No rush whatsoever. Almost does what he wants, doesn't he?
Off to the corner, they're aiming once again.
Ooh.
Madley.
Heavy first touch there, wasn't it?
Well, now they need to go Route 1 here, Andy, from the goal kick. Kiwane's got no option but just to bang it forward. No, but they're not going to do that. It's almost like a cup game. It doesn't matter whether you lose 2-0, which is what they do at the end of the day. Round 25 of the NPL Queensland is done and dusted. A goal in each half to the Hall brothers. Firstly to Mitch on the 21st minute for Lions, and then Henry in the 56th minute. And that's pretty much sums up the night. A goal in each half to Lions FC. A 2-0 lead or win over Olympic. That keeps Lions within 1 point of Peninsula Power, who are on top of the ladder. Lions remain second, and Olympic, while they're not out of it entirely, it's an incredibly tough mountain to climb now to keep in touch with the top two.
Yeah, 100%. I think, if they won that, it would have been game on, wouldn't it, for the end of the season? I think it's now between Peninsula Power and Lions Football Club, obviously. But, a really, really tough one. And, obviously, Lions, the way they played football there and just closed out. They gave absolutely zero to Olympic, and a very, very frustrating night for their forwards, all in all. But thanks very much for having me, Rafe. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, you're welcome anytime, Andy. No doubt we'll either see you towards the end of the regular season or perhaps in the finals, which are quickly coming up. But at the moment, we're going to say goodbye from Goodwin Park and our NPL match of the round. Hope you enjoyed Super Sunday. It's been a big one, 3 games on the Football Queensland social media channels. We'll be back next week, obviously. But for the time being, it's Andy Allen and Rafe Griffin signing off here on behalf of all the team from Goodwin Park. Lions keep within striking distance of Peninsula on the NPL Queensland ladder with a 2-0 victory over Olympic. Good evening, everyone.